Broken dreams and full of tears, you're bumming out. Broken dreams and full of tears, you're bumming out. I don't really care.
Drink beer.
You are most attached to what you have touched the longest. Everything is wet now. This is me the day that I was born. This is me the day that I died. The first thing I remember is the rain. You can't control the rain. It always rains here. Everything is wet. In the jungle, a surgeon made small incisions around my heart while I was asleep. I wish it was you who was cutting me. My penis isn't big enough, however my uterus is throbbing. Shouldn't it be my heart? I hate this house. 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 I hate. Did you know that every human being spends about half an hour as a single cell? Your ribs move on an average of about 5 million times a year, every time you breathe. All rats glow. It is true that sometimes a video includes a female lover. Photography is not forgiving. Pablo Picasso was accused of stealing the Mona Lisa. I just want to be touched.
That to be born is to be chosen, and that none of us are here by accident, but that each one of us is sent here for a special kind of destiny. If you consider sometimes, you can look at facts and read them in a spiritual kind of way. For instance, at the moment of conception, there are literally millions of possibilities of combination, but in most cases, only one child is conceived.
I want to come on her paintings even when we are ghosts. Low mood. Low images. The sun did not come up today. All sunsets must end. Tongue switch. Gender switch. Lights out. Underwear off. Turn off the lights. I'm in the dark place. Letting other people control me. Letting other people control my thoughts. Uncontrollable tears. Paranoid. Turn off the lights. Turn off the lights. Turn off the lights. I'm afraid of images. In the future you are dead. In the future we're all dead. So what to do? What must I say to you? What must I say to the image? Oh, images. This is my favorite place in the whole world. Your walls are like mine. Please touch me. My mood depends on you. We all find our jungle. Number me. # me. Number me. I am not really a writer of light. It's just fragments of glitter. What else could life be with all the darkness taken out? I am made of longing. I am made of longing. You are most attached to what you have touched the longest. You are most attached to what you have touched the longest. Ideally, a photograph would cradle you in its own arms. In the future you are dead. Sexual destiny. An unfinished bite mark. I had fucking tears day and night. I was inside you fucking your tears day and night. I don't want you to ever die. Am I I bad? Am I bad? Am I bad? A photograph of the sunlight, a photograph of the daytime, of the day, of the sun, of the light, of the morning, of the sunlight, from golden hour, from the warm glow you feel on your face. For every warm glow you feel on her face, I feel like it will never be real. Why make anything? I wonder what you do during the day, I wonder how you wake up, I wonder what your nightmares look like. Woke up. Thought about you sitting at the very bottom of the ocean. Jacked off. Biting and biting something like we must tear to see each other's insides. You are most attached to what you have touched the longest. I find you always, always, always and again, surrounded by swallows, and I swallow you. And you can send me dead flowers every night.
Favourite movies? Well, the list does tend to change over the weeks, months and years, but at the moment I feel that my number one movie is À bout de souffle, Breathless by Jean-Luc Godard with Jean-Paul Belmondo and Gene Seberg, which I reckon is one of the three most important movies in the history of the cinema. Birth of a Nation, D. W. Griffith 1, Citizen Kane, Orson Welles 2, À bout de souffle 3, because they influenced the following decade. It's also a marvellous movie in a very inventive style at that particular time. Number 2, I think, is Orphée by Jean Cocteau. Cocteau is my favourite director. I've enjoyed all of his movies, and Orphée I think I would place as my number 2 for its atmosphere, strangeness, and a wonderful leading man, Jean Marais, and delightful dream sequences. 3 would probably be Thomas the Imposter, based on a novel of Jean Cocteau, and it was to be his last film. As he was dying, he handed the novel to Georges Franju and said, "I have chosen you to betray me." And Franju made the movie Thomas the Imposter, the best war movie I think I've ever seen. Next, I think The Childhood of Maxim Gorky by Mark Donskoy, distinguished Russian director, and a tremendous sense of period and a very moving picture of childhood. I think perhaps the best I've ever seen. First American choice would, I think, be On the Waterfront. This had a tremendous effect on me. I saw it when I was 16 years old, and I just returned from a month at the Outward Bound School at Eskdale, and I'd looked forward to On the Waterfront for months. And directed by Elia Kazan, Brando in possibly his greatest role with Rod Steiger. Also a very keen boxing fan, and as an aside I would say that there are 3 characters in that movie who fought for the World Heavyweight Championship. Piece of esoteric knowledge. Abe Simon, Tony Galento and Tammy Moriello all fought Joe Louis for the world title, and all 3 are heavies in the movie. And Carl Malden, of course, the priest, and Eva Marie Saint, very beautiful as Marlon's girlfriend. After that, perhaps The Battle for Algiers by Guillo Pontecorvo, a veteran director who made some very interesting movies, including one called Capo, about a concentration camp, and I loved the characterization of Colonel Mathieu in the Battle for Algiers. He was the remorseless French officer trying to capture Ali, who was his Arab adversary. And I remember there's one point in the movie where Ali has been shot, and Colonel Mathieu strolls towards him, touches him lightly with his foot and says, "Il est mort." I was very impressed by that. Smoking a Gauloise and drinking whiskey at the time. Colonel Mathieu, not me. After that, perhaps the Wizard of Oz, directed by Victor Fleming, with Judy Garland, Susie Gunn as Was, and Frank Morgan as the Wizard. A very bizarre picture indeed. One of the scenes that struck me as being extraordinary was the walk through the poppy fields, where they all seem to become drugged by opium and then all fall asleep. After that, I must include an English movie, although I'm not generally an admirer of English pictures. I'm quite snobbish about this, really, Americans and other European countries. But Listen to Britain by Humphrey Jennings is, I think, the best English movie I've ever seen. Moving back to America, I think Sam Peckinpah's masterpiece is Bring Me the Head of Alfredo Garcia with Warren Oates. Very powerful picture with lyrical gunfire and all the other elements of Sam Peckinpah's style. Another fine movie made, perhaps the best Western I've seen, Guns in the Afternoon, with Randolph Scott and Joel McRae. I think I'll probably include that as well. After that, I'd turn, I think, to Fellini, and maybe the best Fellini I've ever seen was Cabiria, with his wife Giulietta Messina, as a prostitute in Rome. Another movie, I Vitelloni, also by Fellini. Bergman, one of the first great movies I ever saw was The Seventh Seal, with Max von Sydow. Again, a very powerful movie about the plague in the Middle Ages. But a particular fascination for the German silent cinema. And I loved the way they worked. Rather than work in the outdoors with natural scenery, as the Swedes and the Danes were doing at that particular time, and the Americans, they constructed everything in a studio. They wanted a forest, they built a forest. They wanted a town, they built the town inside the studio. And the Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, always I would include that in my favourite films. Not just the strange way it was made and the inspiration for the story, which was an actual murder, but the unique quality that it has. And of course I've tried to recreate something of that in my own film, Stimmung. Another film from the silent days, 1920, this I think, was The Golem, made by Max Wegener, set in a Jewish ghetto and in a very flowery and Renaissance palace, and the contrast between the two. And designed by the distinguished German architect Hans Pulzig, who built the Berlin Opera House. And Pulzig believed that people either wanted to live in plains or in caves, and he decided he was a cave dweller, and all his buildings had a cave-like, oppressive feeling. Takes me on. No, I'm forgetting Louis Buñuel. I think perhaps Belle de Jour, of all his movies, I think that I would include that amongst my all-time favourites, with Catherine Deneuve, Michel Piccoli. Again, this sort of bizarre, surrealist quality that Buñuel has. And another one of his films, Un Chien Andalou, a short movie which he made in collaboration with Salvador Dali. the music of Wagner and Argentine tangos. I think that just about takes me through my movies. Is that an interesting list?